Welcome to episode 11. I wanna make a little bit of a debate on that one because episode 11 was supposed to be like a big episode for the Countertop podcast, and I never got a chance to do that because it was if you're listening, Shay and Shelby, that was a dirty episode. I listened to the audio on that one. So it was bad. It was not good. So we decided not to we as in me decided not to upload that one to the general public. So I decided to bring the younger brothers of the situation. And I want to introduce you guys to Shay's younger brother, Zachary.
Howdy,
How are you
y'all.
doing?
I'm doing pretty good, hanging out with the older brother, having a good time, just kicking it with the older brother, drinking a couple brewskis and just having a good time, listening to good music, just not worried about really a whole lot, trying to, I guess, get an escape from reality and just having a good time and trying to hide with comedy and how the family runs. So, and doing a podcast with, the older brother, Ricky Broxma,
Thanks, bro. What's up?
One of the role models I had when I was growing up and one of the funniest guys along with Shay and Shelby Wesley.
Oh, I think I beat you guys.
Low key, but yeah. But yeah, no, just hanging out with one of the funniest guys I know and one of the role models I had growing up, and yeah.
I beat him.
Oh, what?
They thought I didn't beat him. If you guys are watching this far into the podcast, you guys would know that I beat them.
He's
Anyways,
lying.
continue.
But no, just hanging out with one of the role models I had growing up and one of the funniest guys, that hung out with Shelby Wesley that you guys probably know of, and Shay Hurway.
Yeah, sadly. I'm sorry.
And Shay Hurway, obviously, my older brother that you guys obviously probably know of because that's Ricky's best friend, and
Co-host, Shay
and-
Hurway.
and his brother and my brother, and obviously we're all family here, but not by blood, but by choice. And honestly, water can be thicker than blood. That's for sure. Actually, it's proven by fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Proven by fact by Ricky. Actually, but just hanging out. Having a good time. That's all. And
Okay, so you're talking about water being thicker than blood, right?
Right.
There's a few scenarios I can talk about that with.
Right.
You don't know these people, but Nate Holtz. There's Nate Holtz is he's a pretty good friend of mine. He's supposed to be on the Next Week podcast that I know of. He's supposed to be. I hope he is because we're gonna be having a cover of a metal song coming out soon.
What metal song do you guys plan on covering?
We're gonna put our whole bunch of different songs in a jar, and we're just gonna reach in and pick one out. We have a bunch in mind.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of like Russian roulette, pretty much, is what you're saying.
Kind
but
of,
with
and
a
that's-
jar.
But we're gonna pick out ones that we like. So whatever one we pick out, we're gonna be fine with.
Right.
But whatever we pick out, we're just gonna be like, that's not the one I wanted.
Right.
Every one we're gonna pick out, we're just gonna be like, that's not, until it's the one you wanted.
Right.
But
well, I got a question. Could you give me an idea of what metal song, like two metal songs that you would have threw in that jar, like?
No, we're gonna do like a cover. We're not gonna do a cover of a metal song. We're gonna do a cover of like a a newer pop song
Oh, okay.
and make it metal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that kind of revises my question. I guess like I kind of
Reverses.
revises like edits my question. Just like
Okay.
you know.
All right. So what kind of pop song am I gonna do?
Yeah, pretty much is what I was getting at.
I have a couple choices. I have 4 or 5 choices that I'm gonna pick.
That's more than I asked for, but more the merrier. I mean,
I'm not gonna give you all 4. I'm not even gonna give you one because you're gonna find out
right? Surprise.
on next week's podcast.
Right, surprise. You know, build up the.
I'll tell you
know.
later when it's off camera. Don't worry about it.
I get that. I really do. I was just trying to, ask. But if you guys, if you don't want to tell, the fans or anything,
No, because they're gonna
find out next week.
No, they are gonna find out.
Regardless,
Depends on which channel they follow. If they follow the Countertop Podcast, they can watch this and figure out what it is, or else they can watch Double R TV and see the music video that we're gonna make. It's gonna be like a fucking black tapestry behind us, and it's gonna be like a cool music video.
well,
Whatever, they can check them both out. It doesn't matter. Music video is coming out like way later.
Well, make sure y'all look
gonna-
out for it. That's all.
You know how they fucking make music videos?
I really don't actually.
You don't? Okay, so
I feel like they act it all out and they lip sync it all. Really, that's how I feel like they do
that's
it.
basically how it goes. But they do, they actually scream their vocals.
Really.
Yeah, they really do. Because I've done it before.
Obviously, because you were in a band before with Cade Black and.
I didn't do it with them.
Well, yeah, no, I was just saying.
I did it for myself, and I realized it didn't work, and I looked it up, and I was like, oh yeah, that's not how it works, and you're in your own stage. Everybody's actually playing their own instruments, and they're
So like
playing their own guitar. They're actually playing the drums.
It's just the vocals,
and you're acting like you're singing, and there's no fucking singing.
So
Like
it's
you're acting, and you're basically lip syncing it, and it's
kind of like Vanilla Ice.
but you're not actually doing it, but you're making your mouth move the same way for the camera.
So they believe it when you're like when they see the music video.
But
and
when you
they
see it live,
right?
yeah. So when they see the music video, it looks like you're.
Right.
It looks like you're doing the exact same movement that your lips would do, but you're not actually doing it.
And see, when you realize that that is actually the truth, when you look back on like Def Leppard and all that, did you ever think when you realized that was the truth, did you think that they did that too or no?
No, because when did cinematography become a fucking phase? Like you don't know like when I don't, what was that fucking music video? What was it? Take Me On? That's, I think I don't know who sings it. It's one of Amanda's favorite fucking songs. Take Me On.
To the Paradise. No, that's Guns N' Roses.
No, it's the music video where it's like, it's half music video, then that's like half like comic book, where Chris Griffin goes into the cooler and he gets fucking sucked into the cooler.
The fucking comic, the black and white comic.
Yeah,
yeah.
That song.
Yeah,
I think that might have been where it fucking started.
Really?
Because otherwise it had to have been David Bowie. Otherwise, I'm sorry. I'm sorry he's fucking dead.
Honestly,
You know what?
Mad respect to David Bowie.
Can we say R.I.P.
Yeah,
David Bowie.
R.I.P. David Bowie, one of the greatest artists around for classic rock, but at the same time, one of the twisted motherfuckers around. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
When you look at his music video, especially the movie Labyrinth that he acted in, and the songs that he. Yeah, Labyrinth was the movie that he acted in, and the music that he put in that movie and everything. It's all twisted, It's all twisted, but at the same time, it's eye-opening, because society's kind of scared of literally looking at all the twisted stuff that will literally open everyone's eyes. That David Bowie, the music that he made, but at the same time, it is twisted. I always sit here and say that it is twisted because I'm a pretty spiritual person. Yeah, I believe there's a higher power and everything, but at the same time, David Bowie, he was one twisted motherfucker. I will say that right here and right then.
Oh, you can't get that from the lightning bolt on this fucking eyeball?
Actually,
I can admit right now he's a fucking twisted dude.
Yeah,
for sure.
Did you know actually he's got two different colored eyes because
technically right now he's not that twisted anymore.
Wait, because he's passed away. But
God damn it, me and my fucking dark jokes. I'm sorry, guys. I am not trying to do that dark joke shit.
It's just natural. It's natural because you know what? Life is too serious. Life is too serious.
I'm telling you right now, I try not to do the fucking dark jokes. I'm trying not to.
Right.
That's why I've taken the fucking 3 weeks off. I've been trying to stray away from the fucking dark jokes.
Just
after
calm down
after that weekend,
else.
and it's fucking not happening. I'm just
right.
I'm doing so good on the fucking dark jokes lately with the whole fucking coronavirus thing.
Oh, dude,
can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, we can talk about the coronavirus, dude. We can talk about that.
This whole fucking thing has just been
bizarre, dude. It's been crazy.
It's been insane. And from a younger standpoint, let me get your take on it first. Like, do you think that, like, I know you're not in school anymore.
Well, yeah.
But I know you're 21 now. And do you think schools are going to get closed down and all this shit? Like,
it depends on how far the virus spreads and how far the certain states take it, how serious they really want it. Like, for example, Sheridan, Iowa, the smallest small town in Iowa, pretty much. Like, the town that pretty much everyone...
Williamson, Columbia.
Wait, I understand that, but the one town, Sheridan, Iowa.
It's the one town that has the smallest town that has a courthouse.
Yeah, like, no one really knows about. Like, you could sit here and be like, oh, I'm from Sheridan, Iowa. And
turns out it's on the fucking news every goddamn week.
Yeah, and...
lately.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the fucking coronavirus fucking...
Right, and you go to the local Hy-Vee to the Sheridan, Iowa, and all the toilet paper's gone. Like, you wouldn't think that of Sheridan, Iowa, because, you're getting on social media, you're getting on Facebook, seeing all these toilet paper memes and everything else, and you're like, oh, well, I'm from Sheridan, Iowa, it's not going to hit because it's Sheridan, Iowa. Sheridan, Iowa, no one knows Sheridan, really. You can literally go to Knoxville to a party like I have before, and they could ask you, where are you from? And be like, I'm from Sheridan, Iowa. And they're like, where's Sheridan? It's south, But at the same time, if you're from Sheridan, you wouldn't think that, the coronavirus and everything wouldn't hit Sheridan so hard. But at the same time,
everybody's fucking thinking it's gonna be right there.
Exactly. And they panic.
It's not even in Iowa.
Exactly.
It's in America.
Right.
And everybody's the most concentrated, or what is the word? Concentrated?
Confirmed.
Concentrated.
One of those two. Shit happens.
Is California and Washington.
Right.
And all of America, last time I looked, it was March 9th in case everybody on the podcast wants to know. March 9th was the last time I looked.
Excuse me.
Was 693 people.
Excuse me.
And 3 deaths.
See, I read somewhere on Facebook, and I'm not sitting here saying that it's real because it's on Facebook, but I do believe it because it was a picture between myths and facts, and on the fact side, it was saying that the flu is more dangerous than the flu or corona.
Oh, fuck yeah.
The flu kills more people than the coronavirus does. Like,
but
you have more chance of surviving the coronavirus than the flu.
So it's really sad because it is sad. Absolutely. There is 18,000 people have been diagnosed with the coronavirus.
Right.
That was a roundabout number. 18,000 people have been diagnosed. And I think if my
statistics
and math is correct, only 8,000 people have died. And I know my mom gave me shit about this the other day. You say only like it's just nothing.
Right.
Only 8,000 people have died. And I don't even think that's
a big number.
Right. It's really not. I'm sorry, but
you have a valid point, you know.
But 16,000
are still living.
Twice that number have recovered from the coronavirus.
Exactly.
So that's more than half the fucking. I don't know.
Well, I always, when I was growing up, you know.
I don't know. It's fucking confusing.
You probably weren't around when I got told this, you know, knowing.
I probably wasn't around.
Well, you're an older.
I'm older than you. Go fuck yourself.
Well, you're an older brother, and I'm just saying, you know, Mom probably didn't have you around is what I'm getting at when she told me this. But, you know, sometimes, you know, you got to cut the bad fruit off to make a sacrifice for the better, you know? Like, yeah, the government.
Yeah, absolutely.
What the government's doing is kind of fucked up. You know, yeah, they're probably doing a mass genocide trying to do population control, but they're at the same time, they're covering it up by saying, oh, it's just a coronavirus that's causing all these deaths, but really they're just doing population control. You know, look at the back of your Lysol cans. You know, the human coronavirus is on the back of that, and it's, you know, how long has Lysol been around? You know, the government didn't just sneak in our houses and change their labels around. You know, is what I'm getting at.
You know what? Coronavirus has been around for a long time.
My point, you know, it's not new.
No. Coronavirus has been around for a long, long time.
Right.
It's been around for about 30 years.
And that's what I'm trying to get at, though.
But COVID-19.
That's the same thing, supposedly.
No, it's not.
Supposedly, though, it's the same thing, is what I'm getting at. But I want to hear what you're trying to say, that it's not the same thing.
Coronavirus has been around for a long time. And it's been a respiratory disease. But COVID-19, because it came out in 2019, COVID-19 has been around for a long time. And it's apparently the most deadly one. But I don't believe it that much, because there's been how many plaguable outbreaks during our existence?
Well,
just your existence.
Oh yeah,
let alone mine,
well,
and let alone my mother's, and let alone
fuck
Shay's, your brother's, your mother's.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm glad that you kind of brought that up, because I mean, fuck. Look at 2012. I mean, the world was supposed to end, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. The world was supposed to end. And then Ebola,
you know what?
Ebola comes around out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden it disappears out of nowhere. Like, we never hear anything about Ebola.
What about swine flu?
Oh, exactly. You know, It's supposed to be
H1N1.
You know, that was around your guys' generation, you know, and I was just coming around, if that, you know, just born, you know.
Oh, we're speaking out to the parents now. What about Y2K?
Y2K, that was literally the generation that I was born
Cade,
in.
Cade, I'm calling you out right now. Y2K. Fucking figure that shit out, bro.
Yeah,
I'm calling her right now, Cade.
Yeah, trash boat, you know. Explain that, trash boat. Explain that, trash boat. But no, yeah, Y2K. I mean, that was supposed to be being the end of the world as well, because computers were supposed to take over the world and everything else. And look where we're at now. We're literally accepting it, and we're literally letting robots and everything else take over our worlds. I literally just watched a show earlier this morning before this podcast, literally probably before this day even started. And I'm not going to lie, the show that I was watching afterwards was another cooking show. But before that, it was a pizza show about robots cooking pizzas for a fucking pizza company. I mean, literally.
Really?
Yeah, literally. Like, you want to freak out about Y2K? What the fuck are you guys doing right now? You're literally letting Y2K take over, but in the modern day. And then the show afterwards
Takes after 20 years, dude.
Exactly. You know, like, and then the show afterwards, you know, it was another cooking show, but it was with marijuana. And, you know, fine, it's cool, whatever. You know, if you're using it for medicinal use, sure, it's cool. But if you're just using it just to get high and whatever, it's on the edge. Granted, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a pot user. You know, I'll sit here and say I'll use it for medicinal use because I have anxiety, depression, and ADHD. You know, I would sit here and fidget, but at the same time, you know, there's no reason to sit here and take it for granted. You know, God put it on this earth for a reason, but at the same time, don't take it for granted. You know, but Y2K, yeah, no, that's a conspiracy for ages, dude, because you have companies literally using robots taking human jobs, and people want to sit here complaining about
Every
jobs.
day.
Exactly.
Every day.
Complaining, oh, my job's taken and everything, and the government wants to say the same thing. Well, the government needs to open their fucking eyes or something, because you're literally letting Y2K take over secretly and sneakily. Because you guys thought you stopped it, but really, you guys are literally letting it sneakily come into society and take our jobs and everything else. I'm not sitting here saying, though, that, oh, we're being lazy and we're letting the government take it over and letting them do their thing. No. You know, there's certain people out there trying to fight the right and everything, but there's people sitting on the couch and everything else, you know, letting it happen and not going with what they fight for and what they fucking believe in because they feel like they're going to get judged or they're going to get shut down. No, that's what your First Amendment's for. You know, you have the right to fucking speak what you want to speak, you know? You have the right to freedom of fucking press. You have the right to freedom of speech. You have the right to say whatever you want. Like, granted, yeah, most people, you know, if you walked up to a cop and say, hey, fuck you, pig, you know, they would sit here and say, that's wrong. But at the same time, you know, that's your First Amendment. But at the same time, yeah, I'll sit here and say, that's kind of wrong.
You know what? I have a fucking funny story about that. Last weekend, was it last weekend? Yeah, it was last weekend. I'm not sure. I took a seasonal break from the podcast for that. But I took a seasonal break, and I got pulled over the other weekend. Me, your brother, his girlfriend, and Amanda. Everybody else knows her on the podcast.
Obviously.
You guys have seen us on the podcast.
Excuse me.
We were walking home from the bar, and we got pulled over for Caitlin. She's the drunk one.
Obviously,
you guys know her.
Fucking Karen.
She's
sorry, I had to throw that out there, but that is her nickname when she's drunk, is Karen.
I know. She told the stories on the last podcast. But we were walking home, and she tripped a little bit. She fell, and Shay was just being a boyfriend. He threw a chip at her, like it's whatever,
Normal as could be.
Cops fucking roll up, and just started questioning us.
Are you intoxicated, sir? No, I'm kidding. But go on.
No, that was one of the questions they asked me.
Really?
I was like, what the fuck do you think? Yes, I am.
It's obvious, Like, I cannot answer your question with a,
He threw a chip at her, is all I was trying to say.
Right, and you couldn't get that out.
No, it's just a freaking chip.
Exactly.
See? Okay, so he threw a chip at her, and this cop was giving us a bunch of questions. Are you guys being mean to the girls? Are you? By the way, Amanda is just shoveling fucking.
Excuse me.
She's shoveling bugles into her face. By the way, Amanda,
the finger chip, the fucking number one finger chip that you put on your finger, and
yeah, those ones. Amanda is just shoveling those into her fucking face.
What the fuck?
Like, Amanda's like, I'm not worried. Ricky's gonna take care of this.
Ricky's the man.
No, she was completely right. Like, Ricky's gonna take care of this. And that was the wrong decision for her to make. That's what she was thinking. That's not what I was thinking. I was not happy.
Well, she kind of should have thought of the reason why your nickname is Mouth. That's why.
No, like, we were not together. Like,
oh, you guys were not in a relationship at the time, or what?
No, like, we were together, but like, two different cops showed up and we got split up because cops wanted to talk to them and cops wanted to talk to us.
Right.
And
the males and the females, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cops wanted to talk to me and Shay. Cops wanted to talk to Amanda and Caitlin.
Right.
Because they want to know if we were beating them. They want to know if we were beating them. Like,
point blank period, because you're
pretty much
males and you're with
pretty
females.
Much, and Amanda was the whole time. Amanda was just shoveling fucking bugles in her face. She's like, I don't know, no, go fuck this. Like, I'm not worried about this.
Right.
And she didn't know the whole time. I was like, no.
Jesus.
Yeah. So the whole time. All right, back to the fucking story.
Right.
I was getting fucking asked questions, and can I have your ID? I was like, no. You cannot have my ID because you don't need it. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right,
and they were like, why? And I was like, I just want to see if you fall for it.
Well,
all right, here we go. So I gave him my ID just to be compliant because Shay was like, Ricky, shut the fuck up. And I was like, all right, here you go.
Shay's kind of like that. He's tiptoey.
And then I wouldn't stop. I was just like, what'd you find in there? Anything good?
If so, let me know.
Yeah. I assure you, there's nothing on there that's worth fucking looking at. And I know there's not. And then
right,
we came back. So you came out clear. All right, well, that's good. So, this is where it gets really heated. So are you beating those women? And I was like, no.
No. I literally can see you. like, I can literally imagine the whole situation. You, Shay, Amanda, and literally
it was
Caitlin. Like, I can literally just picture it all in my mind. Play by play even, dude.
The thing is, this guy was being nice as fuck. He was probably the third nicest cop I've ever met in my life.
Really?
And I was probably being a very big dick to him.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never met a nice cop in my life, and you know what?
I've met 3.
The only nice cop that I met was Rubel, and I made him be a nice cop to me because The whole.
No, hold on. Let
Yeah.
me finish my story and then I'll
Oh
let you
yeah,
finish
no,
yours.
yeah, go for it. You know, I'm just trying to relate what you were trying to get to, but yeah, go for it.
I've met 3 nice cops in my life, but this guy, he was probably one of the nicest cops I've ever met. I was probably being a really dick to him.
How? How is he the nicest
Because
cop if
he
you're
was
being
like-
a dick to him is what I'm confused about.
All right, so he came around and he said, all right, so your ID seemed cleared. Like, what's going on, guys? Like, are you just trying to go home? I was like, I know my rights. like
I am an American.
I was that drunk. I was like, I know my rights, dude. And I do know my fucking rights. I know every...
Right, the
I know the
10
first-
Amendments,
I know the first 10.
the Bill of Rights.
Yes, I know every single one of them.
You got to. If you're an American
And-
citizen, you got to. You got to know those rights. You know, those are
And-
your fucking rights.
And I said those, and the first cop, which, by the way, he's probably your age. He's
Really?
probably 21 years old.
Jesus.
He's probably your fucking age.
And he's trying to harass you?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah.
He's acting
Yeah.
like he knows
And-
more than you?
And
That's
then
fucked
he
up.
was the one that went and talked to Amanda and Caitlin. And
Oh, fuck.
I talked to the one that's like been doing it for a little bit, and he's like, I just want to get home. I know you guys
Right.
are good. Like I understood you guys' conversation. I know you guys are good.
Exactly.
He's
had this happen
we talked
plenty
to
of
that guy.
times.
We talked to that guy, and we're good. But like the guy that's like, I'm trying to make a fucking name for myself.
Right.
Like,
Trying to
that's-
put my foot in the door, trying to, get my career started.
Yeah, he is the guy that we first talked to, and that's the guy I started my whole ID shit with, and he did not like it
Right,
at all. And then
right.
the guy that gave my ID back was the cool guy.
Pretty much like
And then-
the younger guy was pretty much acting like
And then
Luke Rich.
when I got my ID back, I tried doing the whole like, no, I know my rights. You're not the same guy. Never mind. And then he started talking to us cool, and I was like, yeah, we're good. Like, that guy was not being very nice to us. Like, and then at the end of our big fucking huge conversation, I ended up asking him for a ride.
So
I was like,
you pretty much
no,
asked him
no,
to be your
which is-
Uber.
No, which is really fucked up because I have asked a cop for a ride before, and protect and serve is their law.
Right.
And
Worry about the citizen's safety and everything.
yes, protect and serve. Yes. Absolutely. Public intoxication.
Yeah. That
Public
word.
intoxication.
That fucking word.
Public intoxication is a real thing.
Right.
And
It doesn't matter what type of...
that fucking law does not make any fucking sense to me.
Right.
Because-
you have the right to go to a bar, but how are you going to get home?
Yeah,
You know?
you can step 1 foot out of the bar.
Boom. You're arrested.
Public intoxication.
Exactly.
And then
Especially in a small town.
What the fuck does that mean? So if you, I've done this. If you call,
I believe it, knowing you.
No, I have done it, and it's worked successfully one time. The one time I've done it.
Really?
The one time I've done it, it's worked successfully. Yes, absolutely, it has, because that's a real fucking thing. If you ask an on-duty officer for a ride,
They have the right to deny you? Or what?
no, they have to give you a fucking ride because you are intoxicated on the streets. You don't know if you can make it home. They have to make sure
And you're
that
trying to...
you are safe, because that is
They're
public
right.
serving, and that is their code
Excuse me.
to protect you on your way home
me?
and serve you on your way home.
Right.
That is the exact code of the fucking police department.
Right.
And I've done that before, and I tried it that night when I got pulled over, and they wouldn't give me a ride when they already pulled me over and fucking made sure I was drunk.
Well, that's
They had to make me walk another fucking mile to the other side of the... see, that's what pissed me off, and that's why I was fucking saying my rights that night.
right. And I kind of have a story that can relate to that, but
that fucking Indianola Police Department, you're being called out right now.
yeah,
right?
no, Indianola Police Department, you need to do your job fucking right. You need to fucking serve and protect, not fucking serve and be a dickhead.
Exactly. I'm sorry.
But no, I'm not. I'll sit here and not say I'm sorry, and I won't apologize because I'm exercising my first right. I have the right to fucking say whatever the fuck I want. Freedom of speech,
I take my apology back.
But at the same time, I kind of have a story that can relate to it, you know.
Go ahead. I got my story out. I still have my first question I want to ask you.
Yeah, but you brought up the police department, so it kind of got me heated and everything. So, I kind of have a story that can relate to it. You
have at it, bro.
You know it very well, obviously, Ricky. It's your two brothers, Shay and Shelby. Them two, they go to the bar, and Shay, he gets a ride from the fucking cop back to the house. 609 South 8th Street.
I was there for the story. This story was on the podcast.
Yeah, and
it's been on there before.
Well, I will say it again, because we're talking about the police department and how fucked up it is.
We're talking about your take on the story.
Well, my take on the story. All right, well, we'll take on my take on the story, and I'll re-explain it even. Shay gets a ride from the fucking cop, because he's intoxicated. Shelby, I guess I don't really know if Shelby got a ride from the cop or not, but he got home, I guess, safe and sound.
I never got my take on the story.
Right. You see, and
you know what? I never got the chance to give my take on the story, but you continue and I'll give mine afterwards.
Right, exactly. Well, I'm not trying to cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
So Shay, he gets a ride from the cop, because he's intoxicated and everything, and you know how Shay is, he can be a little bit wild.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, he can be a little bit wild, but Shay, he gets a ride from the cop, and I never knew if Shelby got a ride from the cop or not, and they finally get home to 609 South 8th Street, the house, and when they get home, Shay and Shelby are clearly drunk, and we continue partying, loud-ass music as usual, and when Shelby got to the house, he kept on saying, I had to piss. Well, Mom, out of nowhere, here's a banana box, and Shelby's like, okay, fine, deal.
No, that's not how it went.
Yeah, well, that's how I got it, though, from my point of perspective, because you're talking about your view. Well, I'm talking about my view, because when it happened, I was younger, so it didn't, I didn't get the full details. So, from my point of perspective, out of nowhere, Mom comes out of nowhere with this banana box, and Shelby starts pissing in this banana box, no hesitation. Well, this banana box has literally dozens of fucking holes in it, dude.
And she
was fine with it. She was literally fine with it. She's just, here, piss in this box. And there's dozens of holes in this box. Okay, you're going to hand one of the drunken sons.
She never held on to it.
Yeah. No, she just handed it. As soon as Shelby grabbed it, she was done.
You're wrong on the story.
Well, I'm explaining what my younger perspective.
That might have been before I got there.
Right. And
that might have been.
It was because before you got there, it was just Shelby and Shay, and I'm not going to sit here and say I got every detail right because I was young at the time, so, I don't remember every fucking detail, but at the same time, I remember the milestones, Shay coming home, through the door, and here comes fucking Shelby out of nowhere, and Shay's fucking laying on the couch, drunk as fuck, doing what Shay fucking does usually,
Yeah.
you know. And
You guys know Shay.
yeah, exactly. And, Mom, hands Shelby a fucking banana box with dozens of holes, like I said, and she just let goes of it, thinking that he's got everything under control, and he just pisses in it, and it fucking leaks. But I'm not going to sit here and say I know every fucking detail. That was just every milestone that I know about that night. But if I'm going to sit here and say that someone would know more of the details of that story,
I win.
Exactly. It'd be fucking Richard, because, he was
Richard.
he'd be the adult, Mouth. Mouth is the adult of the whole story.
I've never been called that on my own podcast, you motherfucker.
Well, you know what? Mom gave it to you, and you know what? It's going to stick to you to the day that you take it to your fucking grave, motherfucker. And
See that fucking logo right there?
Yeah, actually. And
It's mouth.
Yeah, and I'm kind of
See
curious.
that fucking lips? Shay makes fun of that every time. He's like, "What are you doing with your face?"
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind
You know
of.
what?
I'm kind of curious
Can I-
on who made that logo and who did the animation, because, it looks a lot like you. It's just the lips. It's just the lips that
It's
kind of
it's-
makes your nickname
You
stick
know
out.
what? I did several different pictures for that. I did this. I did all sorts of different ones, and he chose it. It's one of my fucking absolute fucking best friends in the entire world. He's from Colorado. His name is Corey Morrison, aka Sin1 on YouTube.
Shout out to him. He did a really good job on this artwork, making his nickname
Dude.
stick out. That's
All
for
right.
sure.
If you look at the background, that's Amanda, Caitlin, and then behind me is Shay and me.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
the big podcast.
Really, I didn't know who was all in the background. Really, I really didn't know that.
it's
Actually,
the
and that's a
one where-
fun fact.
I'm sorry, Caitlin, but it's the one where you talk a lot. That's the one that's.
I hate to put
behind
you on
us.
blast, but not really. But you know what? Shit happens.
But that's the one that's behind us. That's you. I'm sorry, Caitlin.
Sorry, Karen, but shit happens.
Shout out Sin1. If you guys want to look at him on YouTube, I will put it in the comment section below. If you guys want to look it up right now, it's Sin or 418176 Sin.
If you actually
I
listen
actually-
to the podcast, otherwise he will put it in the description. But
No, I actually remember his fucking YouTube channel. I just
Really?
did that from memory.
like you did with the Wi-Fi password.
That was fucking incredible.
That was
If-
incredible.
You
Actually,
know what? I didn't remember it for myself half the time.
you were
And
just looking at it and you're like guessing pretty much.
You know what? I didn't have my glasses off when I did that.
X-ray vision.
418176 Sin.
And you know
Go
what?
look that up on YouTube right now and
Subscribe.
subscribe to his fucking YouTube channel. Subscribe to all of his Twitters. They're all the fucking same.
Everything.
His Instagram, his MySpace.
I mean,
All right.
because
There was something I wanted to ask you about.
all right, ask it. Go for it.
What is your take on Marvel versus DC?
Oh man, Marvel on DC. Okay,
Because I can
Man.
give you my definite answer right now.
Marvel takes the cake, dude. Marvel literally just.
Are you sure?
Yes, I do, because I'm not gonna lie. Stan Lee, rest in peace. Take it to
R.I.P. R.I.P. fucking Stan Lee.
Take a cheers to him, greatest comic book creator on earth.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
if you don't,
he
if
literally-
you don't take a cheers to that, you guys don't have a heart.
Exactly. He literally created a
I'm
whole
dead
universe
serious.
without being a god. He literally created a whole universe without being called God. And inspired so many kids and everything.
He might have been called God, according to the movies, but not in the comic books.
My point, the comic books is what I was getting at.
Okay. Well, you didn't specify.
My point, that was my fault. That was my fault. I didn't specify, but at the same time, with the movies, I love the movies to death. I really do.
You know what?
But I was more into the comics because they
what?
seemed more original. But Marvel takes the cake because...
You know what makes me really mad?
What?
That the Marvel movies and comics, they have several different powers throughout the entire thing, but in the DCs, they don't have very many powers, but then all of a sudden they have one person with every power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I don't like. Like Superman.
And see,
I mean Superman's he's a fucking G.
He's a god. He's got every power, and
but
the
like
one thing that amplifies his power is the Earth's sun. You know, kind of. You know, that's what the movies say. What I'm
Wonder Woman.
Most of the people that's watching this podcast is what I'm getting at. Because
Wonder Woman she's super fucking strong.
She's a bad bitch, dude. I won't fuck with her, dude. The fucking lasso of truth?
You wouldn't
fuck, dude. I won't fuck with that.
It depends how you would fuck with her, because I would
oh yeah, I would get down and dirty with her, but if it's combat and everything, I ain't fuck with her.
She might be holding you down, bro.
Oh yeah, I'll let her hold her down. I'll let her hold me down in bed, but you know what? If it's in combat and everything, nah. But everything else, yeah,
I'm
no.
just telling you, but like, fucking Superman, he's fucking everything up. Martian Manhunter, he hasn't really been in the movies, has he?
No, he really hasn't, and that's kind of upsets me with DC. And see,
and you know what? Like Flash really hasn't.
He was
in Justice League for a minute.
Yeah,
and also
they kind of downgraded Flash to me. Is that what you think?
Know what?
Or
you know what? I'm not a big DC fan.
Me neither.
The only
Excuse
thing
me,
is,
by the way, I keep on burping and yeah.
Oh, it fucking happens. The only thing is, I get uppity through these conversations.
Oh yeah, no, I do too.
The Joker is the only Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh yeah, hands down, Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson, one of those two.
You know what? Jack Nicholson doesn't get me out of my seat.
Really? Why is that? Like,
no, it's the Jack Nicholson factor.
It's just Jack Nicholson himself, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. It's
to me.
I know it's him, and it's just like,
like really.
But like,
why him of all people?
But like, in Heath Ledger's Joker, when you look at him, you can't even tell it's Heath Ledger.
Right, and to me,
but like in Jack Nicholson, you can see that it's Jack Nicholson.
Right.
In Heath Ledger's,
you can't tell it's him.
Yeah, he looks fucked up.
But at the same time,
I just don't know who he is, and he just looks like a fucked up person. And like 6 months after he got done making the movie, he is dead.
Actually, fun fact: did you know that when he was before The Dark Knight and all that, when he was recording that video, he was literally living the lifestyle of Joker, trying to get in character.
I know.
Like, that was the crazy part. That's the crazy part about that. Like, it's fucking insane. And then you look at the Suicide Squad Joker. It's like,
you want to know something even crazier?
You look at the Suicide.
Do you want to know something even crazier?
What's that?
It's not even the Suicide Squad thing. Heath Ledger, if we're gonna talk about that.
Right, the Heath Ledger thing. I was trying to relate with the Joker thing, but we'll go back on Heath Ledger because he's a legend and everything. Like, he is literally the Joker.
Legend.
Like, you say Joker, say Joker, Heath Ledger better pop up in your fucking brain, the first motherfucker. Otherwise, you are literally not a Batman fan. Like, I'm more of a Marvel fan, but when it comes to DC and I think of Joker, it's Heath Ledger right away. And then the second is Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, that's me too. Like, I'm a strictly, absolutely fucking Marvel fan.
Right.
I will do Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America all fucking day long.
Hands down, Black Panther, Thor,
Yep.
Ant-Man, Wasp,
Look at
Drax.
I have fucking Black Panther riding on a unicorn right here.
That's fucking
Okay.
awesome, dude.
See?
I had
Like,
the Guardian. I literally had the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Shout out Justin Malone right here.
Shout-
He's the first one to point it out.
Shout out to
Justin
him.
Malone.
Shout out to him. I literally had the Guardians of the Galaxy Star-Lord's ship, Hot Wheels. You just hung up, not out of the package or anything, because I'm just such a Marvel
Look,
fan,
so
but
I will shout out those all day
long.
Yes, I will. But I've never shouted out any DC
Person.
heroes, but every single time I say like Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Joker,
Right.
this like I result to Joker, and it's always because of
Heath
Ledger's
Ledger.
Joker. Yeah, and his shit was so fucking amazing.
And you
And
want
I want to tell you about the fact about Heath Ledger.
go for it.
This is what I heard.
I love
I'm not-
facts.
I'm not
I love history, so go for it,
This
dude.
is. I'm not sure. This is why I'm doing the quotes. I'm not sure if this is actually
Quotes on
true.
quotes.
I heard that when he was filming The Dark Knight,
Right.
he was also filming another movie, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
I actually heard about that, and I saw a little bit of it. And when I was watching it, actually, I could tell when they switch actors because
He died
I-
while filming that movie.
yeah.
And they had to switch actors to finish that movie.
Yep. And
He-
I tried to point it out to my
The Dark Knight was not finished at the same time. I don't know.
really they were trying to film both movies at the same time.
That's how badass of a fucking actor he was. He was
Whole-
dead to his fucking job.
Dude,
He was ready.
he must have went insane because he was living the lifestyle of the Joker, and then because you know how insane the fucking Joker is, being
Yeah,
in that
and you-
fucking tub
and you-
of fucking acid, making his brain insane, literally
Yeah,
making him
and it's-
invincible, and
he's
then
doing
making
two
this
different fucking roles at the same fucking time. You
exactly.
Have to
You have to be literally
exhilarating fucking person to be able to do that.
exactly. You literally have to be dead almost every day for that. For that job. Like, it's just fucking
and you know
insane,
what? It's
dude.
literally the industry that fucking killed him.
And when, I'm not even gonna lie, when I
Jim
know,
Morrison fucking sang about that for years.
and you know what, shout out to Jim Morrison, actually, rest in peace for Jim Morrison.
He's been dead for 30 years. But
I don't even care.
cheers to him.
I don't even care how many years he's been dead. You know what, he still has great music out. And you know what, I hope people find out find out his music and actually listen to it and find out his messages in those music and everything else. But with Heath Ledger, dude, when I noticed that in that one other movie that you mentioned, right now I can't think of the name. Granted, yeah, I had a couple beers, I'll admit it. But when I noticed that he was switching, or when they switched the actors, it kind of fucked me up because
Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus,
yeah,
by the way.
the magic.
It's a fucking hard name
Yeah.
to fucking remember.
Exactly. That's why
I know it because I've only watched it once.
I only watched like half of it, and when they switched Heath Ledger out, I stopped because Heath Ledger was the one person that really got me hooked into it, because when Heath Ledger was, acting, he made his audience come
Yes,
into
he
his
did.
fucking movies.
He did. He was good.
He was the
Good.
one. He was the one person that literally got that hook into the audience. When you read
Yeah.
when you read a
Yeah,
book,
he was.
when you read a book and it's the first chapter or something, that first chapter is supposed to be the one thing that hooks you into that book. That was Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was that first
You know what's
chapter. And when I was watching that movie, and I'll give a little shout out to someone, he's not very popular. My Uncle Price, my best friend's uncle that I claim to be my uncle. But I was watching it with him, and as soon as Heath Ledger, wasn't in the movie no more, I looked at him and I was like, turn this off. This movie's not worth watching anymore because, we're at 20 minutes after Heath Ledger's not in the movie anymore. And he's like, why, I'm like, Heath Ledger isn't in this movie anymore. And he didn't realize it, because we were...
I watched the whole thing. It's really good, but it's
is
not
it
the
sad?
same. It's not the same.
Is it really sad? Because, I'm not going to...
It's not the same.
I'm not going to sit here and say I saw the whole movie or anything, because I cut the movie off as soon as I noticed Heath Ledger got switched out, because when I looked at Uncle Price, he, as soon as I said switch this movie or turn it off or switch it to music, he, kept on asking me why, and he didn't realize it because... I'm not going to lie, we were taking shots that whole night, but at the same time, Heath Ledger, you got to know when Heath Ledger is not in the fucking movie, dude, because...
You know what? It's really fucked up. Like, half the time, I see Joseph Gordon-Levitt in movies, and I always think it's like a younger Heath Ledger. All the time. They look fucking identical.
Exactly.
But they're not related. And he's in so many movies, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a fucking great actor. And half the time I think he's trying to outdo
Heath Ledger. He's trying to make a name for himself and trying to build a bigger name than Heath Ledger. Is what he's trying to do.
And he's such a good actor too.
Which
I'm not trying to say that he's a bad actor by any means. He's such a good actor.
I'm not saying that at all either.
He could be a Mark Wahlberg for sure.
Mark Wahlberg, dude, he can do comedy, serious. He could do any fucking type of movie you want, dude. But, fuck, you got me thinking about Mark Wahlberg now, but I can't think of the other actor that you were talking about.
All right, let's go back to Marvel.
Right. But no, we're talking about Heath. With Heath,
I wasn't wanting to talk about Heath anymore. That's why I switched it.
Well, you brought up fucking DC and shit, and we got to talking about Heath.
I don't like DC though. Let's talk about
Marvel.
Let's talk about Infinity War. What were the mistakes in Infinity War?
Oh man. Honestly, I'm not gonna sit here and point out all the mistakes because all great things have mistakes, dude. Music itself.
Okay.
The
one big mistake.
Killing Iron Man off, dude.
No, that was Endgame. I'm talking about Infinity War.
Okay. I'm not gonna
Let me ask you one question. Do you think Star-Lord should have hit Thanos when he hit him in the face and said,
"No,
that's my girl"?
No. I honestly think that he shouldn't have, because you know what? As Sir Isaac Newton said, and you know what? My main inspiration for science, and you know what? This relates to Marvel as well. My main inspiration for science was Peter Parker. Literally, Spider-Man.
I don't think Isaac Newton said that.
No. I'm trying to relate what I'm getting at, though. Sir Isaac Newton said, though, every action has a reaction. So, literally, life is a butterfly effect. Every action has a consequence. So, if there was a rewind button, literally, you'd be seeing everyone rewinding everything and everything else. And that's why God didn't put in a rewind. My favorite hero?
Who's your favorite Marvel hero?
It might be mainstream for everyone else. And you know what? You could sit here and hate on me for it and everything. I don't care. I will flip you the bird for it. But you know what? It's fucking Spider-Man, dude. Spider-Man.
Me too, all day.
Spider-Man is the most strongest, most smartest character out of Marvel. Yeah, he might be a fucking 19, 20-year-old man coming out of college, but at the same time, he knows what his powers is, and he's using it for the greater good for one fucking city. Imagine what he would do with his powers for a whole world. You know,
right now in the MCU, he's not sure what his powers are.
That's what baffles me, and that's why I want.
No, that's how it should be, because he's coming to term with his powers. He's trying to figure out what they are. He's wanting to be a fucking kid like me and you. He's trying to fucking do what he
live
wants to
life,
do.
But at the same time, think about the Tobey Maguire series, though.
The Tobey Maguire version.
That's the OG. That's the OG Spider-Man. You know.
Okay, I'm talking about MCU Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, no, but we were talking about favorite superheroes, Spider-Man. You know.
You know what?
Yeah, Tom Holland.
I got a picture in the casino with Spider-Man when I was really young. My mom still has a Polaroid of it.
Did you know that?
You know what? You know what's really fucking funny about that picture? My mom said, no, I said, Mom, I bet it's really hot in that suit. And she's like, yeah, I'm sure he is too. And you know what? You know what? It took me years to fucking figure out what that joke meant. But I was like, I just got done taking a picture with Spider-Man.
You know, fucking.
You know.
Yeah.
And
Webhead.
I was walking to that casino, you know. Got a Polaroid. Oh, big deal. It's in my
should have had a turtleneck though.
It's in my photo album up there. I was like, Mom, I bet it's really hot in that suit, you know? And she's like, yeah, I bet he is too.
And see,
by the way, recently divorced at the time. So,
well, see,
I'm kidding, Mom. I love you.
Love you too, Mom. With the
might not have been. I'm not sure.
With the Tom Holland Spider-Man and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man,
okay,
I'm not dissing it.
Who's your favorite Spider-Man?
Honestly,
okay, Maguire, Garfield, or Holland?
Well, it depends on what type of part you're talking about. You know,
doesn't matter.
Who's
your favorite?
Because in the comic, Spider-Man
we're
was
not talking about comics.
Well, yeah,
we're talking about film adaptations.
Oh, film. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna. I'll sit here and say Toby because he
really.
Yeah.
That's a high voice I've never heard in my life.
Yeah.
Really?
Have your balls dropped? No, I'm just kidding. But no, Toby, because you know, he played Peter very well, and Peter was a big part for Spider-Man because Peter was literally the person before Spider-Man was created. And granted, yeah, no, I'll give all credit when it comes to Spider-Man himself. Like, you know, Peter, when he's in the Spider-Man suit, I'll give all credit to Tom Holland because you know what? Tom Holland plays Spider-Man so well because when in the comics, Spider-Man, when he's in the suit and everything, he's a comic. You know, he's a jokester, but at the same time, he knows what's right from wrong, you know. He knows that life is too serious to take it so serious. He's got to add comedy in life. But when it comes to Peter Parker, it's Tobey Maguire. Because, but
all right, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
But
with Tom Holland, you don't see much of Peter Parker.
Exactly.
And with Tobey Maguire, you see a lot of Peter Parker.
Exactly.
With Andrew Garfield, you don't
see a bit of both, really. He's a bit of a scientist, and he tries too hard to be a comedian when he's Spider-Man.
You know what? You see more of a scientist than you do anything else.
Exactly.
You don't see much of an everyday guy.
He's more focused on what happened to my parents, and
yeah, he's not much on just being a.
It seems like a Godfather series, really. Like it just seems like too serious of a series, really. When it comes to Andrew Garfield,
so it's Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire. If it's a Spider-Man,
Tom Holland.
Hands
down.
I would say Tom Holland every day. He's the best incantation of Spider-Man all the time, absolutely. If it could be Tobey Maguire in Tom Holland's suit doing that acting, that'd be fantastic. But
right, and see, what
never happen that way. And I've heard that it's supposed to be
a Spider-Man, like
a Spider-Verse.
Yeah, with Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I heard that plenty of times. It got my hopes up, and then I realized it was fake, and then
I've heard it's gonna be in the MCU though.
Well, where'd you hear it from though? Like what site? Was it a reliable site? Because every site I got onto, it wasn't reliable. It was just pretty much fan-based. It was always fan-based every time I heard that, and it just made me more depressed because, granted, I love Spider-Man to death.
We got it discovered.com. Tag that in the comments.
You're speaking the microphone, Ricky. No.
We got that discovered.com. Tag that in the comments.
Tag that. And I will sit here and say I believe that because you know what?
Got it discovered is not that wrong because
right, and I'm not gonna sit here and say they're wrong or right, but at the same time, I'll sit here and say that you probably did a little bit more research than I am done because you're my older brother. You've been around a lot longer. You've seen the comics a little bit more than I have. In the movies and everything, so but at the same time I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to be literally in the same generation that I was raised in. I was born in 2000, but at the same time I was raised in the 90s. I was raised with 90s shit. I was raised with Nintendo. Everything that 90s shit is great, because Shay, and and
oh yeah,
fucking
music.
Yeah, exactly. DMX, Eazy-E, MC Ren, and you know what? The reason why I'm not saying NWA in general is because you know what? I got raised up on every artist, individually. Because of you guys, because
you don't want to say the words.
No, I will say it, niggas with attitude. I will say niggas with attitude.
Niggas with attitude.
You know what? I would drop the hard R if I need to. If someone's being ignorant, it's not because they're black. It's just because they're ignorant.
You know what? Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, no, we can, but at the same time,
you know what?
It kind of cuts off what I was talking about,
but I know,
but.
I'll talk about that with Isaac.
No,
he's a freestylist.
Well, yeah, he's a freestylist, and Isaac Hogan, shout out to him. He's the greatest artist that I know that's probably in Sherton, that's still in Sherton besides Augustus Gormley, because you know what? Sherton needs something popping that's besides racist cops, cops that want to be assholes, literally Hy-Vee, something that needs to be literally for the community that the community can be associated with, literally something that the community can get with,
Yeah, I know.
But at the
besides fucking people fucking shooting up houses,
exactly.
Besides fucking people getting ran over,
exactly, gas leaks and everything, But at the same time, like Sherton, they need to get something going besides Hy-Vee. Like, granted, yeah, Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee is the home base of, not Hy-Vee. Sherton is the home base of Hy-Vee. Granted, that's where Hy-Vee was found. But at the same time, they gotta let go.
Isaac, if you're still listening right now, I'm calling you out.
Gus and Isaac.
Yep. Gus, Isaac, right now, motherfucker, I'm calling you out. Gus, I don't know you that much, so I'm gonna ask you politely. But
Ricky will ask you politely, Gus, but me, I'll sit here and say, motherfucker, freestyle on this motherfucking mic right fucking now.
Isaac, right now. So, that being said, we're gonna go to the audio only of this podcast. And we'll be right back with you here in just a couple minutes. It was lovely to see you guys. Make sure you guys go subscribe on Spotify. I will leave the link down in the subscription.
And
or is
it's
it
not done yet.
Is it subscription or description?
Oh,
which one is it?
What are you talking about? The bio or the link or the
I'll
channel?
I'll leave the link for the Spotify.
Okay. Well, since Ricky's confused, subscribe to the podcast. And you know what? Whatever he's trying to put in the description, he'll put it in the description or Spotify of who?
Of my podcast.
Okay, well, he'll put that in the description. Or you know what? He'll put it in the description and we'll put it in the audio of the podcast as well. Because you know what? Ricky's a good guy. And you know what? He needs all the support and everything. And you know what? He's a funny guy. And everything else, and we'll switch to audio like he said, and you know what? We'll take a break real quick, and we'll come right fucking back.